Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our team Zoom. This is Julie White, and so excited to be here tonight. We are in store for a real treat. And we have Sherry Martin with us, and I'm just going to go over a little bit of her bio, and she's going to share her story. So I'm going to let her share that. But she's been involved with LifeVantage for 8 years, and she's currently an EC1. She lives in South Florida. And anyway, she's the mother of three adult kids. I don't think she looks old enough to have adult kids. And a yaya to her 4.5-year-old granddaughter. Sherry is also a former United States Army veteran who loves to elevate, empower, motivate, and support other people who have the same vision and goals as she does. She likes to say she is a hope dealer. Her mission is to help women become the best version of themselves through many facets. And when that happens, magical things begin to happen. Have you ever asked yourself, if I could go back in time, what would I have done differently? She made a decision a few years ago to say yes to herself first, and that decision has drastically impacted her life. So it sure is an honor and privilege to have you here, Sherry. And we really appreciate you taking the time out for us tonight. And we're excited to hear all that you want to share with us. So I'm just going to let you take it away, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Um, I feel like it's an honor to be on this training. Our trainings used to be Monday nights at 8 o'clock this time. So we just changed it starting last week. It's Tuesday at 7. So it happened to work out beautifully that I'm able to just kind of inspire. So my whole focus and goal tonight is to really share my story. And a lot of you who know me, you don't know this part of my story, but I think this particular training, I do need to be extremely transparent because I think a lot of people join this business and they might see an influencer or they might see somebody who has been in this type of an industry, whether it's like network marketing or they just have a plethora of people that have been following them for so long. And that was not me. I am a very slow burn. So I just want to really open my heart. And I think that me getting a little raw is going to really help each one of you put things in perspective with your business and be able to implement this tomorrow so that you can really figure out what your purpose is here with LifeVantage. So I hope I can add some value. So I'm going to jump right in and get started. So my topic tonight is really how to find your people to build this business so that you can stay authentic to who you are, right? So I know a lot of what I'm going to talk about is just my experience in the last 8 years of being with LifeVantage. Um, but you don't have to know the compensation plan too much. You don't really have to be a scientist to build this business. There are three things that I believe and that I've implemented in my own business, and everything I'm sharing with you tonight, I have put this to the test. I have done it within my team, and I know that it works. So it's three things that I live by every single day, and it's patience, persistence, and a positive attitude. So what I'd like to do is kind of just spend a little time on each one of those, giving you some examples. And then I want to give you a few things so that you can figure out how to go find your people, right? So I want to touch on kind of like why for me, some great ideas that I have done in this business, but in the beginning, I tried to be like everyone else. I found someone that I was like, wow, she's amazing, or he's so good. And I tried to do what they were doing, whether it was social media. And I have to be honest with you, I did not succeed. So the first 4 years of this business, I was a glorified customer. Okay. So I just want to make sure I let everybody know I only started building this business 4 years ago. It was June of 2020, just to kind of set the stage. So again, I'm Sherry Martin. I live here in Stuart, Florida. I'm about an hour north of West Palm Beach. My children are 29, 26, 25, and my amazing granddaughter Isla is going to be 5 in July. And I learned at a very young age that it's up to us to make the best of every single situation, right? So at the age of 7, I'm kind of going to take you back to paint the picture for you. So at the age of 7, due to some poor decisions my mom made, left us, my mom and my 2 sisters, living in a tent for over 4 months. And I remember the tent, it was behind my mom's friend's house. She worked at Albertsons in Lake Worth. And it was the parents of this lady that she met. And, I just remember laying there at night, listening to the insects outside. My mom was very positive, even though we were very, very poor. She had a really good attitude. And I just remember laying there at night saying, gosh, like, I don't want to have to depend on anybody to be able to feed my kids, to be able to clothe my kids and put a roof over my family's head. And I wanted to be able to give my family a better life. We didn't even own a vehicle. We had a 10-speed bike that we'd have to go to the grocery store with and carry groceries back, with my mom and my 2 sisters. There was 3 of us. But at that time, I was in 2nd grade. I was 7 years old. And because of our situation, I really wasn't in school very much. I was babysitting my 3-year-old sister at the time, so my mom could work the night shift, and then I was sleeping during the day. And then DCF showed up, and they basically told my mom that she had a couple weeks to get us out of the tent and get us back in school. And I remember when DCF showed up at the school, and I'll never forget what the teacher said to my mom. She told my mom that I wasn't very smart and I had a reading comprehension problem, and it would be best if she just held me back. And then she said, which really stuck with me, she said, Sherry loves helping people. Every time I asked a question, she raised her hand, not to answer the math question. She wanted to like help another child that was in need. I wanted to brush my teacher's hair. I wanted to pass out the papers, right? I wanted to do anything but learn. And that began that blueprint of my life. Okay. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. And unfortunately, because I was abused by my mother's second husband, which is why we were living in the tent, I just kept attracting like really crappy men. And that kind of followed me, which is why I went into the military. Believe it or not, I was a very happy kid. You would have never known I was suffering, that my family was really poor, other than maybe the clothes I was wearing, but I really had a good attitude. So I want to fast forward to graduation. Here I am graduating high school. I went in the military. By the way, I had to take the ASVAB twice because I convinced myself I wasn't smart. I convinced myself that if I didn't go in the military, I would have no life. So that's what I did. I went in the military right after high school. And I never really gave up on my dreams. It just may have taken me a little bit to get there. So I was always in like abusive situations. So my I met my ex-husband at my very first duty station. Okay. We met, I knew him 6 weeks, and I got pregnant with my son Tristan, who's 29 years old. And this is kind of how my journey started with LifeVantage, even though I didn't know this 29 years ago. When I had him, I was so depressed that I felt like that inner child demon that I had suppressed all of my life must have like come to surface when I had my son. And I didn't have like that motherly instinct. I just didn't even want to get out of bed. So when I went to the doctor, they asked me about my family history, and I told them mine's kind of a hot mess. And they literally labeled me with bipolar manic depression. So here I am in the Army. My child's just 6 months old. I knew my husband literally 6 weeks. I'm fighting for my country, away from my family. And about 2 years in, so now I'm 20, almost 23 years old, and I was on 12 pharmaceuticals. I was taking something to help me eat, sleep, be intimate, be happy, be sad. I was the gerbil in the wheel in the pharma crisis. And, I didn't know any better. I just was going to my doctor and trying to figure out why I felt so bad and still pushing through life, right? Knowing my passion was helping others. I started in the mortgage industry 25 years ago. It's really the only job I ever had. I've never been a W-2 employee for a couple of years when I got out of the military, and then I went straight into a 1099 job. And, I was just looking for love and happiness in all the wrong places. And I remember I used to beg, I would be driving to work. I owned a mortgage company. So I'm going to take you back to 15 years ago. I'm driving to work and I would be praying to God. So, by the way, be careful what you say and what you think, because I promise you it will come to fruition. And I would be like, God, please, I just need a day to myself. Like, I just need to get sick so I didn't feel guilty for taking a day off for myself. And unfortunately, what happened was I ended up getting diagnosed with cervical cancer. So now I have had three types of cancer at the age of 35. And unfortunately, within 6 months before I knew I had cancer, I was filing for divorce. I was filing a $2.7 million bankruptcy. And now I have cervical cancer. So I was okay with it. I never really put any kind of energy into it. I did not have to have chemo. I and I'm honestly, I feel like I cured myself with my mindset. This is when I started doing mindset training, right? 90%, 99% is mindset. And I know this because I've done it for 15 years now, and it's been a game changer for me. So anyways, back to what I was saying to you guys. So I'm making $20,000 a month in the mortgage business. I've owned 11 homes. And what I realized was it didn't matter how much money I was making, like what kind of car I was driving, what kind of shoes my kids had on, if my quality of life was poor. And that is how I found LifeVantage. I experienced the power of activation 8 years ago. Christy Vogt, if you don't know her, she is absolutely epic. And she was posting on social media about brain fog. Well, one of the side effects of me being on pharmaceuticals for 20 years was I had lost my short-term memory. So I was like Drew Barrymore from 51st Dates. And that is not a good disability to have when you're doing people's mortgages, and they would drop off loan docs and then come back next week. And I'm like, dang, I feel like I know you. And they're like, yeah, I was here last week. So when I tell you my quality of life was horrible, my relationship with money was horrible, I poured into personal growth and reading the books and doing all the things. And it was a game changer for me. And maybe you or someone you know can relate to a little bit about that story. But I was in a situation where I didn't have a choice but to make LifeVantage work for me. It took me about 4 months. So there is a happy ending to the story. It took me about 4 months to get off of every pharmaceutical. And then about 10 years of getting on the pharmaceuticals, I was in a car accident, two of them in 6 months. So now they have me on 4 opiates a day. So I'm on 12 pharmaceuticals and 4 opiates. It was a shit show to say the least. And I share this story with you guys because, you know, the three P's that I want to talk to you about tonight is really what got me to where I'm at today, because we all have the same company, right? We all work for LifeVantage. We have the same products. We have the same science. We have, most of us have a similar system. So why is this person over here making X amount of dollars? And I know social media can be misleading, but I knew these people. Like, I knew Tara Wilson and I knew Carrie Dickey and I knew like a lot of people within the company because I kind of followed them. And I'm like, why am I struggling with my life? Right. So I share that with you because I want you to understand that I am no different than you or anyone else that you are out sharing LifeVantage with. So I want to start with a little bit about these three P's. Okay. So patience. I know a lot of us join because maybe we borrowed someone else's belief, or whatever the reason is why you joined. As soon as we get rejected, right, from a family member or friend, they tell us we're crazy for doing that network marketing, we automatically give up. We may not give up on our business, but we have mentally given up with thinking that we're worthy enough, thinking that we're smart enough to be able to do this industry, right? So the industry of network marketing taught me a lot about self-love, personal development, and even if you don't understand the science, it's totally okay. The compensation plan, don't worry about it, right? It's all going to come to you. I literally just kind of grasped the compensation plan when they changed it, believe it or not. So mindset is really, really big when it comes to my life with my children, with my partner, with this business. So it's taken me some time, some years, I guess I should say, to find the people to build this business with me. I never gave up on the business, but I never gave up on myself. That is the most important thing. Do not give up on yourself, right? So the first couple of years of me working the business, I struggled. I found myself, like I said, comparing myself to other leaders, trying to build it the way that they were building it. And I would attract some people, but I'm not Christy, I'm not Tara, I'm not Angie Harper, I'm not Julie, I'm Sherry Martin. And I knew that if I didn't figure out how to stay authentically real with who I am and my passion for doing this business, it would never, ever, ever grow. So I achieved MC1 in my first 6 months. I was super excited. I had like 2 friends to join the business. And then within about, I don't know, 90 days, life happened and they kind of left me. And I maintained SC3 and stayed that way, you guys, for 4 years. I couldn't make more than $800 a month to save my life. And when COVID hit, I lost my job. So I was laid off. So I had no choice but to figure this out. So here's what I will tell you. I poured back into myself. I changed my mindset so that I could attract different people. For the entire 4 years of me starting this business, I was persistent on posting. Even though I didn't have a team, I never stopped posting the first 4 years. I was so persistent that I'd try to give up and corporate would call me. I've never met anyone like you. You post every day. You're doing all the things. And that's when I realized that I was my own issue. Like I had to look in the mirror and figure out what I could do differently because it wasn't LifeVantage and it wasn't the products and the compensation plan, which is going to lead me to my second P, which is persistence. So there's no shortcut to this, my friends. Um, the leaders within the company have done this a lot. They've worked really hard. They've done the hard work for us to make it a very duplicatable system. I know each of our teams might have a little something different, but at the end of the day, it's ITT, it's invite them to a tool, right? It's add them, tag them, message them, all the things. We do them. We just might have a little bit of a different way of doing it, but we're doing the same thing, right? Stepping out of my comfort zone to do these trainings, it was a really big deal. So don't do a shortcut. I want you guys to try and, do it in a way that feels good to you. Okay. Volunteering to host a call, that's paying your dues, right? Volunteering to, step out of your comfort zone to do a training with one of your peers, that's paying your dues. We have to pay our dues in life to get to that next level. And I tell people that partner with me, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay double later, right? Kind of like people that come to me for the products. I'm like, invest in your health today or you'll pay for it later. It's up to you. Either way, we've got to invest, right? I know a lot of times we feel like we're working this business because everything's great. And then what happens? Life happens. And then we're not persistent with our follow-ups, right? We don't work our business a little bit every day. I'm not saying all day, but I do touch my business every day. Even if it's just sending a text to someone that says, hey, I was thinking about you. I don't have to speak about LifeVantage, but they were on my mind. That's what I mean when I say we really do need to touch our business every day. I heard this one morning while I was putting on my makeup, and I always, I go to YouTube. I don't listen to the television or the radio in the morning when I get up. If you don't have a morning routine, first of all, I'm going to encourage you to have a morning routine, whether you pray, you journal, you can visualize. Do not get your phone. Do not look at your phone. I actually put this clock above my bed because I found myself looking at my phone for the time. And then I couldn't help it. I was like checking my emails, right? We kind of do that. So I'll encourage you not to look at your phone. And what I do is I do my meditation in the morning and then I get up to take my shower. And then while I'm doing my makeup, I listen to podcasts. I listen to something that's going to set the tone for my day. Because if we don't set the tone for our day and fill our brains with something positive, your children will upset you, your spouse may annoy you, you're driving somewhere and road rage kicks in. It really does. I feel like it puts a shield out and I can really protect my energy. So I do this every single morning a decade later. So I was listening to something, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but anyways, um, it was a podcast and it was talking about preparing you for like rejections or other people's things that, that we do. So I want to share what he says to me. Okay. Judge a man not by what he does, but by what he doesn't have to do. So we should not have to speak about a lot of things. I have attracted people to my business because of the way that I present myself and the way that my attitude is, the way that I carry myself, my posture. It's huge, right? And you know, I think it's important to have integrity, right? To do the right thing even when no one is looking. There's so much good out there in the universe that has each and every one of us, our name is on it, right? And guess what? Nobody can get your good in what it is that is out for you. And if they don't understand it, then let them. I don't know if you guys are reading Mel Robbins, but holy smokes, it's amazing. It's not their journey. This is your journey. They don't have to understand why we're doing what we're doing. That's not our job. Our job is to give someone enough information, asking the right questions so that they're like, do you think that this will help me? That is our job. And then we can start building the relationship from there. So I want to take you to my last P. It is positive attitudes. Okay, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest um, things that I do every single day. Okay, I really set the tone for my day. Um, this is uh, this is something that I started doing, like I said, over a decade ago. I was in a horrible relationship. My relationships with my kids were just like not what I wanted. And when I started listening to this to podcast, it was a guy, a Christian guy. Oh my God, what was his name? Ah, he was a big black guy, and he was adopted, and his mom took. I can't. Les Brown.
That's Brown.
He,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. I loved him so much. And I remember listening to him one day, and he said, if you are not happy with your partner, if you are not happy with your life or your children, you need to look in the mirror because they are a direct reflection of you. I was like, what? That moment on, you guys, I was like, something like a light bulb went off, and I thought, if I want a different relationship with my children, I had to treat them differently. So that's kind of how it all started with me with Les Brown. Okay. So we could not be upset if somebody says they're not going that if somebody says they're going to show up and they don't show up, okay? If they say they're going to buy and they don't. That is not our problem. I know from past experience the ones that I've had to beg to join this business, even if I offered to give them all of my commission just to join, right? It didn't matter because I'm going to tell you right now, I had to beg them to show up on a call. I had to beg them to give me one or two people that they thought could use these products or this opportunity. I had to beg them to do everything. And what I realized was that stole my sunshine. Like I was working with people that didn't want this business. And there's a billion people out there that are on their hands and knees praying every day, my friends, for a solution. The only reason why you haven't found your person is because they're not ready to receive it, right? They're praying to God, they're asking, but they're not open to receiving it. So it's just going to pass them by. Or there hasn't been enough information, or they don't have enough belief in themselves, which is, again, our job to help them see that, right? So I had to, so I got tired of begging people to partner with me, to be honest with you. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And when I changed my mindset and I started lifting the lid from my business and telling myself I was worthy and I was smart enough to do this business, it was the craziest thing. People started coming to me and it started becoming fun for me, right? So don't be so stuck on the person that said yes in the beginning and you just can't get them to see this vision. Do not spend your time on those people. The best advice I can tell you is go find someone else. You can love on them. You can put them on the shelf and you can love on them. I never call no one's baby ugly that has another health and wellness business. I never make anyone feel less than because they don't see the vision. I just love on them from afar and I go find someone else. The best advice that I can give to you guys is to stay true to who you are, right? Don't build this business how someone else is building the business if it doesn't feel good to you. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that in just a minute. I'm going to give you a couple ways that you can go find your people. Okay, so when we stay positive no matter what is happening in our lives, the negative people will go away because it is how the law of attraction works. It is like, I want you guys to think about vibration, right? If you're in alignment, if you wake up every day and you pour into yourself and you learn how to love yourself more than anyone else, including your children or your spouse, like you choose you, it's amazing what God or the universe, however, you believe. I'm super spiritual. So I know that good things are coming for me. They are happening for me, right? And if it's something that I'm not comfortable with, it's because it's probably happening for me to realize I don't want to be that person. Maybe it's a trait that somebody has that comes into my life, and maybe I have that, or I used to have that. It really helps me realize that's what I don't want to be. I don't know if you've ever realized when other network marketers try to get into your DM and it's weird and it feels really uncomfortable. I don't want to be that person. I don't like the last day of the month, by the way. I am not one that's going to call my downline or my upline or my sideline or my friends and beg them to order for me to make a rank. Like it doesn't feel authentic to me. So I just don't work my business that way. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't like that pressure. I don't know, it doesn't feel good to me. So don't take it personal if somebody is not ready to partner with us. I don't care if they join me or not. I am still going to wake up every day and I pray every day, please put someone in front of me that could use me today, that could use my service. My background's mortgages, so I still have clients that, do mortgages, but really this business. Okay. So I found most of my people will avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding the pain. They go through life like something in us is dead. Like they don't wake up and thrive. They're just existing, which is how I lived my life for 35 years. I was existing in this amazing thing called life, and I did not want to do that anymore. So, I can easily blame my past, right? I could have blamed my mom. I could have blamed all the things, but I didn't. I was very patient with myself and I was very persistent when it came to getting what it is I wanted out of life. I didn't want to work 60 hours a week to make $20,000 a month. I didn't even care about the money anymore. I was on food stamps when I got divorced. Like I literally started from scratch and I never was happier. Like I didn't care about keeping up with the Joneses. So those three P's I live by every single day. And I bring someone on and I start with mindsets. The first thing I start with them, right? Because if we don't get their mindset right and we don't work on the skill sets of the industry, I promise you, they're not going to last very long because they don't know any different, right? We don't know their trauma from their childhood. We don't know their living situation. And I just love people and I want to help them become a better version of themselves. So I want to give you just a couple of suggestions on how to find your people to build this business. Okay. So I'll share a story with you about my friend Suzanne. So Suzanne is not my personally enrolled. I met Suzanne through a friend of mine that I went to high school with. Her name was Gina. And COVID hit like February of 2020. And I had gotten fired from my job April, May, okay, of 2020. And my daughter had just had her baby and I was her little nanny. So I had this little 8-week-old baby, and my daughter is in real estate at the time. And so I'm helping her with Isla. And I thought, how am I going to build this business? I've never made more than $800 a month. And my rent at that time was like $1,400. And I didn't know how in the world I was going to do this. And so I just prayed about it. And I was on Facebook, and one of my friends I went to high school was doing blow jams, and she was offering people tips to cut their family's hair since nobody could leave for COVID. And she was having people submit like their blow dry outs, and she would give them a gift. So I thought, I don't even know how this came to me. I believe it was the universe. I said, Sherry, you should reach out to Gina. I never used the hair care system, by the way, at this point, and maybe see if she'd want to try the hair care system. So I gifted her the hair care system. Okay. I said, hey, Gina, oh my God, I love what you're doing. You're giving back to the community. I want to gift you this activating hair care system. It activates the follicles that are dormant. Unbeknownst to me, her hair was falling out and she was looking for a 3-part system. I share this with you because I'm in alignment with this girl, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and our energy is in alignment. So God put me in front of this person, right? I was open to receive her, and I shipped her this hair care system. I followed up 5 times. She's like, oh, I haven't opened it yet. I'm thinking, so I kind of got annoyed, but I'm like, no, no, no. No problem, Gina. Let me know when you try this hair care system. I'd love to get your feedback. So about a month goes by. She sends me a message. Oh my goodness. This is the best hair care system I ever had. How do I partner with you? And that started where I'm going to lead to. So Suzanne comes to one of her events. I said she had no time to learn the system, to share a cart. She didn't really want to learn. She was ignorance on fire. Okay. I said, Gina, all I want you to do is when you get someone in your chair, I want you to speak from your heart, and I want you to say, I want you to talk to my friend. She can explain her story and she's going to help you. And that's what we did for 90 days. I must have did 2 to 3-way calls a day for her for 90 days. And then here comes Suzanne. Suzanne's background is a stay-at-home mom who was the PTA on PTA. And then her youngest started junior high, and she kind of lost her purpose. How many of you guys can relate to that, right? Kids get out of the house, you're like, oof, what's my purpose? So she showed up to this event that we had, and Gina says to Suzanne, you're going to meet new friends. You're going to make a lot of money. She's like, I don't want any more friends. My husband does very well in our business. I'm just not interested. And she met me. And I live an hour from Gina, by the way. So Suzanne joins with me and she goes, I don't know how to build this business. I go to the gym and I go home. I cook dinner. I help my husband with the business. I go to the gym and I go home. I said, okay, so you know what I said? We're going to build this business around the gym. So when you have a consultant who's brand new, I want you to ask them, what does your day look like? What do you do on a daily basis? What lights you up? What is your passion? If they say, oh my God, I have no time because I work 80 hours a week, well, that's going to be another conversation. But we got to meet people where they're at. I tell everyone, I'm going to match your energy. If you are calling me, I'm excited. If you're not calling me, I'm going to reach out to you, but I'm not begging you to do the business. So here I got Suzanne, who was open to learning the business. So here's what we did. If any of you or someone on your team loves the gym, I'm going to give you a couple things that you can do tomorrow to build this business. So within, I would say, a year, she made MC2, okay, which is, I think it was like our Pro 5 back then or something. But anyways, something like that. Okay. Here's what she did. She said, well, I don't know how to do it. I said, I want you to bring your Axio, and I want you to bring 2 Axio samples every day you go to the gym. And then I want you to find one person that is open to hearing about the power of activation. So she found her person, and this is what we did. I said, okay, now that you found your person, I want you to get a table with her, and they would have a table at the gym before the workout, and she would sample Axio. After the workout, she would go at her table and she would say, hey, I'm doing a lunch and learn at my house. Would you be open to hearing a little bit more? We built Suzanne's business that way. I was driving down every single Wednesday, an hour one way, an hour back, and I was spending about 2 hours with her. And one person, one heartbeat at a time, we built her business. And find one person in whatever it is, if it's tennis, if it's I don't know, bingo, whatever, if it's church, find someone. And if you can't find your person, I want you to pray, but I want you to be open to receiving it. Okay. Be open to whoever this person is that's coming your way. Okay. So once we started that, she was able to do this by herself. Now I only go down there once a month. I was going down every week for 2 years. I thought, oh my gosh, right? It's like kindergarten looking at people who are in high school going, how am I ever going to graduate, right? You don't realize that it's the journey. Everything is about the journey. You can't be in elementary school and think you're going to, do everything that the kids are doing in high school without going through the grades. So this business is exactly the same. So I have to tell you, funny, I was so impressed that she was building her business. I'm now making about 1,200 a month, right? When Suzanne started working, I was like, yes, I'm finally making money. So I go to Crunch. I pay $200 a month to put my information on the billboard. I am allergic to the gym, you guys. I was forced to work out in the Army. I do not like to work out, but here I am trying to build a business through the gym. I failed so miserably because I wasn't excited to be at the gym. I was like, ugh, I don't want to be at the gym. And people felt that. Even though I had a smile on my face, people can feel your energy. And it was horrible. So I know that was not my place to build this business. So what did I do? I'm back to the drawing board. Now I have a team that's building. I'm completely unbalanced in that's BC2, by the way, for anybody has a BC2. So I'm like, how am I going to find someone that I can enroll with doing what? How am I going to build the business? So I went to Facebook and I went on, I just Googled, I put in there networking groups near me. Okay. I found a networking group that was at night. So my very first networking group was a Wednesday night. It's pouring down rain. I was exhausted. I was like, not feeling it, but I went to this networking group. Okay. And I get to the networking group. I meet this one lady, and she says to me, thanks, David. And she says, hey, I have another networking group. And that evening, because I chose to show up, led me to where I'm at today. And within 1 year of being at $1,200 a month, I was now at $4,000 a month. And I hit executive October of this year at $9,700 a month at EC1. So the point of me sharing this with you is if your business is not moving, I really would suggest that you figure out if you're being authentically real to you as far as are you, how are you sharing this business? Who are you talking to? Like, is it somebody that you don't even really like? Because we get to choose, right, who we work with. So I will encourage you to kind of take some time and get quiet and think about that. So, building this business around what you already are doing and what you love is how to stay authentic to who you are as a person. So for me, I know that me with belly to belly, that's my jam. I do social media, but I don't build on social media. It's more or less just kind of plugins for people. But I think my business increased 50% at these networking events, and it took me 2 years. So 2 years ago, I was at $4,000 a month. So think about where you're at today. What if you can more than double your business, right? By just getting real with who you are as a person. For me, it's been, like I said, 8 years of me building this business. So I want to share one more thing about the GLP-1. Okay. This is really important, you guys. I did not launch the GLP-1, right? I listened to what corporate said. I listened to everyone else about, you don't need to change your diet. You don't need to really do anything. Just take these magical pills and this protein. I thought it was freaking protein, it's fiber. But I'm just listening to everyone. And I launched it like, hey, you don't need synthetic GLP-1. Let's get on this. It's going to activate it. It's going to release the L cell. I'm saying all the things, right? And it was not good. So then we're on back order, right? Well, our job is to reset expectations. So let me share with you what I'm doing right now, and it is amazing. Okay, so here's what we're doing. I am going after nurse practitioners, people that are already offering the GLP-1, the synthetic peptides, Ozempic, all of those. And this is what I'm saying to them. I get in to see the person that makes the decision, right? So I walk into their employment or their spa, whatever. Hi, I'm Sherry Martin. I live here in the community, and I noticed that you guys are offering GLP-1, Ozempic, whatever it is they're offering. I would love to speak with someone who is your decision maker, who is your doctor, who is the nurse practitioner, because I have something that's going to align with what it is that you're doing. And I don't say anything else until I make the appointment. But when I sit down with that nurse practitioner, I've probably enrolled over, I don't even know, maybe 8 consultants in 2 weeks. And this is how we did it. Because these nurse practitioners, they get it, right? So I say to them, now I'm sitting down with them and I say, hey, Julie, thank you so much for your time. I want to share with you what it is that we're doing. So and I ask questions, what are you doing for the patients that don't want to take the shot or that have side effects? Or what are you doing when they meet their goal? What are you doing for maintenance for them? Because every one of them tell me they lose the customer, their patients, and or they lost them because of the side effects. And then I come in there and I say, well, I represent an activation company, and we have the one and only activating GLP-1 hormone. It is, obviously I explained, because most of them honestly don't even know that it's a hormone that's made in our gut and brain, and that the L cell in our large intestines get released, and it's communicating, right? Releases dopamine, tells our pancreas to release insulin. They're just looking at the money, most of them. So when I explain to them that I want to partner with them, and I want to help educate them so they have an alternative. So all of my nurse practitioners, they are not posting anything about our mind body. You know what they have in their office? Protandim, Nerve 2, collagen. Everybody is on the Nerve 2 period for 30 days. And then we have an intake form and we ask questions. Do you get bloating after you eat? Because SIBO is a big deal. If they have overgrown yeast in their gut, this GLP-1 isn't going to work. It's going to take 6 months. It works for everyone, by the way, but it's going to take 6 months for their guts to get healthy. So we're educating them and we're putting them on Nerve 2, minimal, $62 a month, right? If they're able to afford the collagen, we do that. Then we get them on the mind body system after they've been activated for 30 days. And then if they're already on a synthetic GLP-1, we educate them. I'm telling you guys, this has been the best thing that we could have done by relaunching the GLP-1, right? So it's been amazing here. And that's just kind of what we're doing here in South Florida, just to kind of help people get back out there. So before I wrap this call up, I want to leave you with a thought, okay? And then I'm going to open up for questions if you guys want. Okay. Life is about the journey. And so is this business, okay? We here at LifeVantage, do not give your power away. You don't need anyone to approve your dream. It was given to you. And if they don't see your dream, that's fine, because it's not their dream, right? So I want you to hold it. I want you to nourish it. I want you to cultivate it. And I want you to work on it every single day. So keep working on your dreams and continue to keep on knocking, because this is your life. This is what you love. This is your passion. And I want you guys to give yourself permission to love yourself more than you love anything else. And everything else will line up. It is the best advice someone told me over a decade ago. So I love this business. I love helping people. And I just want to say thank you, Julie, for having me on your training tonight. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Wow, Sherry, that was incredible. Wow, you really gave us a lot of information. was amazing. You have a lot of energy and it really came out. And I love so many things that you said. And I agree with you about mindset just being such a big key and being authentic, such a big key. And wow, you have made so much progress. I love hearing your story and seeing your
Mm,
progress. And I'm really excited. What I would like to hear more about is the GLP-1, what you're
yeah,
doing. That is genius. That is amazing. And one of my questions is, so, a lot of the nurse practitioners, they're, involved with a group.
yeah.
And so are you going to more private ones? Because I can't quite, I'm trying to wrap my head around how it would work with some of the groups that the medical practitioners are,
Yeah.
involved with, because there's,
I ask a lot of questions, Julie. So when I'm sitting with somebody, I do, like I said, I do a lot of networking groups. So it's fortunes in the one-on-ones. So I have a 30-second commercial, but they don't know what activation is, right? They just, some of them come up to me because they're like, oh my God, your energy's so great. What do you do? And I'm like, let's schedule a one-on-one. So I ask questions. I feel like we would be doing people a disservice. It would be like malpractice, right? If somebody came to us about LifeVantage and we didn't ask a lot of questions and we're just like throwing up on them with all the products, we don't even have permission. We don't even know if they're a candidate. We don't know if they're even interested. So when it comes to the nurse practitioners, I ask them, who is your decision maker? And sometimes getting to the boss is not, or the owner is not what I want. I want to get with someone who is the nurse practitioner. So I have a lot of spas that the owner's not really interested in doing this, which is fine, but the nurse practitioner is. And the other thing I'll share with you is franchise do not work. If you go to a franchise, 99% of them are going to tell you, oh my gosh, your product's great. We can't market it. Like they'll get fired for marketing it.
right.
So I go to these individual nurse practitioners, and how I found them was through my networking events. And
Mhm.
I ask people, who do you know that is a nurse practitioner and that are prescribing GLP-1? And they'll tell me, and I say thank you, and then I go right there and I ask questions before I tell them anything. I'll say, hey Julie, you know I know, I'm here, I'm in the area, and I have something that can increase your revenue by 30%. You don't have to get new clients, you don't have to change anything. What are you doing for your patients that are having side effects? What are you doing for the patients that hit their weight but they're so afraid to stop because they're going to gain the weight back? Right? And I tell them, I have a solution for you. It's a protocol, and this is how it works. And they say to me, wow, that's amazing. Because you know what? They want residual income too. So if I can paint the picture that you can put someone on Protandem for the rest of their lives and you get 100 people on Protandem, right? Think about that. Like it's a big deal. And you're going to have something that's backed by science. And people say all the time, well, I have like LifeWave, right? I don't know if you guys come across this. That's fantastic. I'm never going to call your baby ugly, but I want you to show me your PubMed studies. Show me the studies that are done outside of your company. And you can be so confident and your posture should be so tall that they're like, oof, I don't even want to question you. They don't question me anymore, right?
Mhm.
They
That's
can't show you any studies. And you can honestly say, like in Africa, I was with Dr. Brett Bremholm, and I asked him, I said, listen, I'm relaunching this. And I am doing something else that I will share with you, but I don't know if I'm compliant, but I'll share anyways. So I have some of these nurse practitioners that we're actually doing a metabolic balance testing, because people that have you can ask 3 questions, okay, to your friends or people that are on GLP-1. Do you get bloated? Or do you find when you eat you're bloated, right? Do you find that you can diet and exercise, but no matter what, the visceral fat does not go away? And I will explain to them that it is because they have no GLP-1 hormone being released whatsoever. Especially putting a synthetic GLP-1, your body will never make it. It thinks it has an overabundance. We're
wow.
just educating them. I'm
Wow.
telling you right now, it is so crazy. People think they know what the heck is going on, but they don't. They're just putting 80, they're injecting GLP-1, they're getting 70% of GLP-1. When you take our product, It's 140%. But I don't know if you know this, but it releases dopamine in our bodies. That L cell that travels to the brain allows our pancreas to release insulin. And think about dementia and Alzheimer's. It is a gut and brain direct reflection. So when I talk about GLP-1, the weight loss is the last damn thing I talk about. Let me tell you what the benefits are. You are not going to lose muscle. You can get off of this product and go to maintenance. Maintenance is every 3 to 4 days. Like, why wouldn't they want to do this? If we don't explain it that way, then we are setting people up for failure.
So what is the maintenance dose? You're talking about the maintenance dose for our GLP-1?
Yes. So after they get to their ideal weight, if they're on a synthetic GLP-1, it's probably going to take 6 months for this to work. It's going to work. It works on everybody. The only reason why some people aren't seeing the results as fast as they want is because they have underlying issues. Renee, I'm going to get to you. Hang on one second. They have underlying issues, and those underlying issues, 99% of it is gut. It's gut issue. And then we have to address that gut, or we're just going to be, and when I tell people about the 27% reduction in visceral fat, I tell them, it's not just our belly. Think about the visceral fat in our heart. Do you guys know that our GLP-1 takes 40% of addictions, whether it's shopping, and I know that for a fact, shopping, alcohol, drugs, food. Do you know why? Because when our gut and our brain are communicating and it comes into my mind, like every time I eat, I thought I needed something sweet for 50 years. I'll be 51 in September. I kid you not, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. If I ate, I needed a piece of chocolate. I'm like, oh my God, I need something sweet. I need something sweet, right? That is such a mind thing that we have. It's food noise. And when I started GLP-1, I gained 5 pounds, but I lost 6 inches in my belly. So I tell people, don't get on the scale. Don't get on the scale for 30 days. Let this system work through your body. But if I think I need a piece of chocolate, by the time I get up to go get the chocolate, my mind's already on something else. It is weird how it works.
So
Renee had a question.
What did you say the maintenance dose was?
Oh, the maintenance. So about 3 to 4 days for somebody who stops taking the mind body GLP-1, that food noise comes back. So I tell people to play around with it, right? So if you get to your ideal weight, I don't want people getting off our products because it's not just weight loss. We're helping with, gut and brain, all the things, right? We don't want you to get off of this product, but you can go to maintenance, which means every 3 to 4 days, you take your 2 capsules. And I only do 2 scoops now, by the way. I don't even do 4 scoops. So hopefully corporate's going to either lower the amount of the fiber and then adjust the price or something, because they need to do something. So we're working on that. But anyways, I take the 2 capsules in the morning when I get up to go to the bathroom. I drink hot lemon water, by the way, which is amazing. And then the capsules dissolve, and then you wait your 30 minutes. And then I do 2 heaping scoops around lunchtime. And I just mix it in like almond milk, or sometimes I'll do it in yogurt. And that's all you have to do for maintenance. Because if you stay on Protandim, right, it's lowering the inflammation. It's activating pathways that have been dormant for so long that it's maintaining you. And you'll be fine if you can do that. Some people get off of it, I guess, altogether. And we haven't had it that long to know what happens. But I want people to be activated for life. So I will help them and educate them on that. And then when they're done, I tell my nurse practitioners, now you bring that collagen in, because we're going to work on that skin, right? We're going to tighten that skin, and it's going to protect their investment and enhance the treatment of the Botox and all the things they're doing. So it is a win-win, and they're going to create that residual income. Renee had a question real quick.
Yeah, everything that you have said, I'm talking to nurse practitioners. I had SIBO.
Oh, so yeah.
Took the test, the breath test, the whole thing. Yep. 3 types of SIBOs. I had 2 of them. And so I know that it takes a while, especially if you're trying to do it naturally and not take the antibiotic for SIBO. But my question is completely unrelated to that. When you're doing your networking, because I'm in some networking events, they always, 1 person per industry, right?
Yes.
Typically. What do you tell people that you do in the networking events?
Yep. My name tag says Sherry Martin, the activation girl. So I have 3 different 30-second commercials that I do. So
Okay.
when I started my, oh God, I hope I can remember. It's something like, hi, I'm Sherry Martin, and I always focus on women. No offense to men, but I always feel like they have an alternative motive for me. So I'm like, let me just focus on the women. I'm Sherry Martin, and I help women struggling with mental, physical, and emotional fatigue have more zest for life so they can become a better version of themselves than they were yesterday through the power of activation. So if you are not living the life that you've always wanted to, we need to connect. Let's activate your body, activate your life. Sherry Martin, the activation girl. I said that for the first year. Nobody even knew I worked for a network marketing company. Nobody
Right.
even knew. They thought I was a life coach. And I did not even have business cards, which is another secret.
Right. I
I
don't have
would
them
go
either.
to these networking events and they're like, do you have a card? I'm like, no, but I'll take yours. And then I would follow up with every single person. And my goal was to schedule a one-on-one with 2 people every single networking event. I was only doing 1 a week. Now I do 2 to 3 a week. This is my full-time job. Like,
So in the category, they're like, which category?
activation. I have people with LifeWave in mind. I have people that own their PAs. They do the Botox. They offer Ozempic. They do all the things. I do not target anything. So when I like today, I had one and I stood up and I said, could you imagine? I want you to think about a time in your life where you woke up and you felt your best. You didn't have to take supplements, lotions, patches, or injectables. How would you like to go back to that? Well, guess what? I can help you do that. I activate pathways in your body with plants that after 120 days, they can't differentiate the cell of an 80-year-old and that of a 20-year-old. I would like to help you experience the power of activation. Activate your body, activate your life. Sherry Martin, the activation girl. And you just keep saying it over and over again, but there's nothing like we have. So there should be no issue with you and anyone else. Because and if they're like, well, it's the same, it is, it's not the same. We have 30 studies on PubMed. Show me your studies. Do you activate pathways? No, yours is borrowed science. Period. And I am so confident that these people are like, yep, she's in her own little world. She's good. She can come in.
Thank you.
Yes. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Wow. Do you see the time? Oh my goodness. The time is getting away. Anybody else have a question?
Oh, what does that say? What's it? Lyme is a powerful antibiotic and can adversely affect your normal gut flora. Yes.
Yeah, Lyme is good.
So, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's great with hot water. Like, it's good to clean. It's a natural detox for our bodies, and I would also encourage everyone to focus on 3 products. We do not need to tell everyone about every product, right? The main thing that people want is more energy, less aches and pains, and lose weight. That's what people are looking for, and make money, right? That's it. So, I really try to meet people where they're at. I ask a lot of questions. If I meet a prospect, I ask them that question. Hey, can you think about a time in your life where your body, I tell people this, God made our bodies to heal optimally.
Mm.
Struggling with the food, limiting on the GLP-1. Teresa, you gained 15 pounds? Okay. If you're gaining weight, you definitely have an underlying issue. I would go get metabolic testing. You need to get your blood work to see if you have overgrowth yeast or something's going on that your body is rejecting this. I would definitely go get that test. It's covered by insurance. Okay, so I had a total hysterectomy at 35 from cervical cancer. So I've been going through the menopause. And I mean, I was on the Mind Body for 3 weeks and then we were out of stock because I gave mine all away and I had to start over. And honestly, I am playing with it right now because it's been a struggle. Like, I don't know if it's because I don't really work out or what the situation is, but the science is there, you guys. It is scientifically proven to activate our GLP-1 to release 140% of the hormone. Period. There's nothing we have to say about that. If it's not working for someone or for you, there's underlying issues that we need to get to the bottom of.
Well, I have some more questions, but I think we're already at an hour's time.
Somebody just, let me just answer her real quick. What was that? How do my networking, how do the networking groups work? So some of them are all women. So I have like, I do mastermind groups. So Monday morning, 7:15 to 9 o'clock is a mastermind group. Fridays is a mastermind group. Thursday night is like a connect sphere where you can rent a table. We need to figure out a way to invest in our business. So you may have to buy, I only sample collagen. I sample it out, and Axio. I don't sample anything other than that, because people, it takes time for our cells to turn over. So the networking events are great, but you're not going to build the business at a networking event. You really must do one-on-ones, because it's I tell people that I have a personal growth business with a compensation plan attached. So if I'm meeting someone, I'm going to start with the mind. What is stopping you? Because, you know, genetically, right? We all have genetics. I also, let me say one more thing and then we can go. This is so important. When I sit down with people and I go to do a presentation, if I have like 15 minutes, I start with this. I heard one of our doctors say it and I loved it so much. I listened to it over and over again and wrote it down so I can memorize it. And this is what he said. We have two phases in our life. We have a growing phase and we have an aging phase. This is how I explain activation, by the way. If someone says, well, what's the difference between activation and supplementation? Oh, great question. We have two phases. We have a growing phase and we have an aging phase. Growing phase is from conception to birth to about our mid-20s, maybe early 30s, based on lifestyle and genetics. Our body's performing exactly the way God made us. He made our bodies to heal all by itself, right? Think about before Industrial Revolution. We lived off the land. Heart disease and cancer was not on the rise. Think about autism right now. How many kids are born in autism? It's crazy. That is activation. When you don't have to take a supplement, a lotion, a patch, or an injectable or anything, your body is working exactly how God made us. Then we get to the second phase, and that's aging. That happens about our mid-30s. What happens in our mid-30s, guys? Our body starts breaking down. And what do? We phone a friend, we Google, we go on social media, we call a doctor. And what do they do? They start supplementing our bodies. And when you put anything synthetic in your body to trick the cells to do what it's naturally supposed to do, it always objects, whether it takes a week. It took me 10 years, you guys, before I lost my memory. 10 years before the side effects were kicking in, like long-term side effects. And when that happens, that is called the side effect, when your body objects. That's the difference. We are activating pathways to perform the way that God made us. That is what we are doing. We are not supplementing it and tricking ourselves to doing what we think it's supposed to do. It never works long-term. It just doesn't. There is time for a pharmaceutical, yes, but you shouldn't be running to the doctor to get a pharmaceutical every time you turn around. You're just band-aiding, we're not addressing that root cause. And I really explain it to people in a way that they can understand it. They don't care about superoxide dismutase, right? They don't care about all of those things. They just want to know why it's different. That's it.
Awesome. Well, Sherry, you've given us so much tonight, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we have this recorded so we can go back and, just watch it again and take some more notes. But so much value. Wow, you are just a dynamo, and we appreciate you so much taking all this time. And so thank you. So many things, so many nuggets, and so much good info. So I'm excited about it. So thank you everyone for joining. And we will, next week we have Renee teaching. So that's going to be great too. So don't forget to check out your Monday Momentum email and, see all that's happening this week. Does anybody have any announcements before we close out tonight? Any comments or announcements?
I do know, usually it's every other week, but Skip Campbell is doing an opportunity presentation, special kind of for our team on Wednesday night, 9, 8, 7, and 6, depending on where you are. And I should have that. Jill's getting that ID for me. It should be, probably will be different than the one he normally uses. So I'll be sending that out, and he's going to be kind of honing in on some things that he may not normally talk about. So this Wednesday night could be kind of special. Sherry, let your teams know, and we'll get the word out to you too.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Renee. Thank you, everyone.
I got something to share.
Oh, Debbie, okay.
No,
I don't have
Teresa.
it. I think it's Teresa.
I do.
Oh.
I do. I want to share with y'all. I've been so blessed. I am a first-time grandma. Baby's 1 week old today.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, it's so amazing.
That is
It is
amazing.
amazing.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Blessings on your week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.